What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Everything Paranormal Show, where tonight we're going to hopefully have John join us from Exploration Unknown. He's going to be coming up real soon. He said he's going to be here, so we're excited to have him. But as always, joining me is co-host Stacy Talich. Stacy, how the hell are you doing tonight?
Doing good. In the Louisiana swamps, 1 degrees, humidity around 70%. Swamp ass is just the way to be.
I know, man. This has been a steamy summer, and I'm here in Tennessee, and it's been steamy. Last week wasn't too bad. We had some cool moments, and it was still hot, but kind of cool. And now it's starting to heat back up with that humidity. Is what's killing me, man. It's the humidity. Ugh.
Well, out west or in the Midwest, they're dealing with drought. The FDA actually released a report advising their forecast for the fall harvest. They're saying 45% of wheat is basically silage junk. In all of the Midwest, 45% of the crop that's going to come out this year is just going to be junk.
Right.
So expect some shortages. That's what's coming down the pipe.
And Stitch Rocks pops in the chat. He said, "Hey everyone, hey, what's up, Stitch?" Again, stick around. We're going to be having John with Exploration Unknown, guys. He's going to be coming up real soon. Like I said, sometimes our schedules don't always align, and John's a busy guy. So, Facebook user, hey guys, that's what it says. Literally, look, I'm telling you guys, for some reason, when you're watching on Facebook, if you don't do the permission stuff, we don't always know who you are. But shout out to, he's probably somebody I know. But yeah, guys, we're so we're going to start out. We'll talk a little bit about some paranormal stuff, and maybe I kind of might as well get rid of some of the upcoming announcements out of the way while we're waiting on John. But guys, John will be here, so hang in there. But guys, thank you so much. We're moving up on subscriber counts. You guys, we've been doing this for a few years now, really not advertising, just letting you guys come along and join the chat and really support the show with you guys sharing things, sharing the videos, all the love and support we get. Thank you all so much. I just wanted to say that. Also, I want to say thank you to Paranormal Underground Magazine, which is like a everyday sponsor. If you guys don't have Paranormal Underground Magazine, definitely go to the website, go get it. All you got to do is just mention my name, go to Paranormal Underground, I think it's .net, mention my name, and like I said, you're going to get a year for free for sure. It's going to show up in your email. It's an awesome magazine, guys. Definitely go check it out. But I wanted to definitely shout out to that. Again, shout out to my wife. She should be popping in the chat at some point here, I'm sure. We just got done eating some dinner here in Tennessee, so a little late night dinners. But yes, awesome things coming up. We should be coming up for those of you in the Knoxville, Tennessee area. Coming up at the end of August, we are looking at attending CreepyCon. I hope, again, it's 95% right now. There's a 5% chance we might not be able to, but 95% chance we will be there. We will be there. We will have a location. I'm hoping to even do a workshop there. We just got to wait and see yet. There's still some things up in the air, but I want to at least announce it because it's a big deal. CreepyCon's pretty big. So if you live anywhere near that area and you're going to be there at the end of August, come check us out. Come meet us and come see Terry Lynn and I in person. Bob Fountain popping in the chat, still awake. I'm glad to hear that. Still awake, still hanging in there. So that's awesome, man. Oh, so guys, we have got some great stuff coming up. We're going to talk some more paranormal investigations, things like that. And I'm gonna go to Stacy right now. I'm gonna let him talk a little bit because I think with Stacy's side of things, he really deals a lot with the zeitgeist and sort of where the spirits are, maybe what they're talking about, those type of things. So Stacy, what is your finger on the pulse, or no pun intended, the dead pulse, like the no pulse. What is the finger on the spirits? Do they seem to be talking or a buzz about the spirits? I mean, what can you tell us on the paranormal side of things?
Well, this year, and we're including the next 12 months, not just, because we just crossed the solstice. We only got half a year left. The next 12 months, we're in for a bit of a struggle. I mean, you really don't need the dead in order to know that. Just if you news, you watch alternative media, you follow some of the things that are going on, you know that we're not in such great shape right now. Anything could happen from another pandemic. You got uh, shortages, you got supply chain interruptions, you got the possibility of World War III because reasons. All
Right.
kinds of stuff can just happen, and it's like all queued up, and any one domino falling can cause a cascading effect. They are not really specific on what's going to happen, what what to expect on that level, but they are very um, I don't want to say agitated, very excitable right now. That there's a lot of challenges that are coming up, and honestly, not everybody's going to make it because they've got their head in the sand. They are going to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, or they're going to do something rash, uh, like riot or whatever. They're just going to do things based off of emotion rather than thinking.
Right.
And they're going to get themselves in trouble doing things like that. And it's, like I said, not everybody's going to make it. And the next 12 months are going to be kind of a challenge.
Right. When we have like those extreme moments in our history, like how does the paranormal react? Like how does the dead what happens on their end when we're going through periods like when we went through the summer of love, when we had all the riots and destruction, things like that, when mankind is really kind of going at it. What is it on like the dead side of things?
Well, from the way it's been described to me, it's sort of like being on a lake with choppy waters. They experience, time differently than we do. They experience reality with more senses than our five senses. They feel and understand things on a much more intense level. And but it's been described as like being on a boat with like really choppy waters where it's, you know, uncomfortable, but you can see the wave coming and you can kind of prepare for it as it comes.
Right.
They, you know, that's what gets them excited, agitated, so to speak, is that uncomfortable uh, wave throughout the zeitgeist, essentially.
Right.
Because we're all feeling it. Any number of communications that we make with the is done on a very subtle level, and when we are very stressed, paranoid, afraid, angry, all of these things, they have a cumulative effect with every person. We feel it with each other, and the dead feel it from us too. And you know, they're here to help on a lot of levels, our own spirit guides, but the dead that are not here for that reason, they have a tendency to treat it sort of like kids going to Disneyland. There's all kinds of chaos that are happening all the time, and they're enjoying themselves, making people do stupid things. You
Right.
know,
Right. And so I guess I've always wondered too, because like it seems like if the spirits react to things in real life, like it always makes me wonder, what about the hauntings, right? Because it's like, are those ghosts that are haunting these locations, are they just selfish and like they're just kind of like, well, screw the world that's going on in the living. I'm still going to try to get these people out of this house or whatever. That's like they still have their selfishness, right?
yeah. Well,
Uh,
a lot of it is they're not very far different than the living. They haven't elevated themselves to any significant way to where they're actually responding as though they were still alive. So they feel the quake or the disturbance in the force, so to speak, but they don't understand it any more than we would understand, space aliens talking to us.
Right. Which, for those of you that may have missed, we did a live show just a few shows ago. Look for it in the I put it up in the title. It's has aliens in there, but it's pretty cool. We actually reached out and did a communication session. Ended up talking to like my spirit guide and stuff, and got some pretty interesting answers or responses when it comes to aliens. So if you guys ever had wondered what maybe the paranormal talk about with aliens, I would recommend go check out that video. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, talking about where we've never gone before, that episode really was kind of wild.
Yeah. Yeah. I like when we ever like those odd moments like that happen, because I don't think we didn't even intend to start out. In fact, I think we intended to actually have John with Exploration Unknown when he got caught filming, like his film schedule went over or something like that. So he ended up not being able to make it. So we ended up like contacting the dead, and then like it turned into talking about aliens with the dead. It was crazy. So it was like one of those where we didn't even expect it. It just happened, and next thing you know, we're just getting we're asking the dead about aliens, and we're getting like actual responses. So guys, definitely go check that out. It's really cool. So excuse me, it sucks when I can do a show like right after I ate. Like I just ate a little bit ago, so like I'm all like, oh yeah, sexy. All right.
I didn't get a chance last week to talk about the Bright Insight guy. There's a channel. I sent you the link, but everybody here doesn't know about it. Bright Insight is kind of a big channel. It's one of these ancient alien channels that talks about Atlantis, and they bring archaeological evidence to bear forbidden archaeology. It's a very interesting channel. He's got like 2 million followers, so it's not shabby on the following side. But somebody just gave him the memo of what's going on, because just out of the blue, he put together a small few-minute video telling everybody, go buy some rice and beans. And it's all coming down. It's all collapsing. I'm telling you, go get some rice and beans. I swear I laughed at that for 2 days, because, it just, when somebody gets it, all of a sudden you're like, it clicks hard. And
right.
this guy did. So
yeah, it's funny. It's like and it's funny, but also scary, because there is that moment, and it's so weird. Like I don't know if anybody watching this has. And again, guys, if you're in the chat, feel free to ask questions or participate in the chat. We're the type of show you can participate in the chat. But I don't know anybody watching or anything. But if you've never really felt that feeling of just like, and I will admit, I think I want to say, with all the stuff that was happening, again, I don't want to get too political, but at the same time, I'm just trying to use a reference. I think around the time of election to inauguration time frame, it was probably the most, I think, scared I felt in a while, like to the point of like no, maybe not even that. It might have been before that. It might have even been right before, when we were really having the riots, and it was just spreading throughout. It was that point when it was like, buy more guns, buy more ammo. There was ammo shortages. It was really getting a little scary on that. The shelves were emptying. There was some things you could not get, whereas like now you still can pretty much get some things. But that was the closest I ever felt to being caught with your pants down, and then it was like, since then, it's like, okay, trying to incorporate some things, here and there, and do what you can. And it's tough. It's tough, man. It's tough but I don't know if anybody's ever felt that. Bob, wow, I can ask questions? Yes, Bob, you always ask questions, and you can, that. He likes to act like he's just like some new guy.
I was when all that stuff was going down, I was fully expecting this whole area to do the same thing. I was watching it all over the country in the news, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
But every blue city burst into flames across the country, except for New Orleans. The New Orleans police they'd been getting training for Mardi Gras, for decades. And when people started to get rowdy, they just snapped into action and they squashed it. It never got a chance to get off the ground because the police, the mounted police specifically, come through and they just run you over.
Right.
If you start getting too crazy. And they didn't have any riots in New Orleans. I was pleasantly surprised on that. I was fully expecting it.
Well, and I think, in all fairness, from what I've noticed with New Orleans, is that it really was because of Katrina. When Katrina came through and flooded that city, and a lot of people migrated out, but then there was that vacuum. Once the city started to, it was almost like a ghost town in a way, but it was that void got filled with a lot of crime, and New Orleans was very heavy crime. Police was really struggling, but it was a huge learning curve. So it's like, because of Katrina, post Katrina, I think New Orleans was prepared and trained and was like, look, we took the city back. We were at probably the lowest that New Orleans had been in a long time, with like the highest crime and things like that. So I think that truly prepared them for these type of situations.
They tried. I mean, there was reports where they were trying to shut down the interstate, which is, New Orleans is basically a fishbowl island.
Right.
And there's like 4 ways in and 4 ways out. And if you block any of the roads, which is why after Katrina, the military was able to control the area so well, it's because all of the roads basically bottleneck. And
Right.
if you hit it at a choke point, you're going to shut down the city. You're going to control the city. And that's what they tried to do with the riots. They tried to hit the choke points, and the cops came in within minutes and just dragged them out by their short hairs and said, not in my town.
Right. They shut that shit down, huh? Yeah, that's and that's the thing. And when you get these cities and stuff like that, and because like I said, there was that time, because I watched New Orleans. I wouldn't say it's like a second home or anything like that, but when I lived in the Panhandle of Florida, and even in Gulfport, Mississippi, where Ground Zero Katrina was, New Orleans, I had been there a few times, and I used to go there for the casinos and the, not so much like, what is it, like Bourbon Street and Canal and stuff,
right?
But just, sometimes the French Quarter a little bit. I wasn't a huge Mardi Gras fan in that sense, but I like to go there. I used to like to go there and experience some of the food and gambling and stuff like that with Harrah's Casino and stuff. So, but in any case, it had a small little place in my heart, because it used to be right up the road, and I used to go there sometimes. So I used to kind of keep an eye on it. So after Katrina, I was really worried, like, man, is New Orleans going to be a lost city? Because for the longest time, there was just reports of like police, the crime was just so bad, and police were getting murdered, and it was hard to, I was like, are they even going to be able to get the right people in there to really recapture the city, so to speak? I mean, it was getting pretty wild there. So
yeah, I mean, there were neighborhoods that, good old boys were driving around pickup trucks going on turkey shoots, where they would, find somebody who was not supposed to be in the neighborhood, and they'd, mysteriously get shot.
Right.
That was happening all over the place. And you find guys that were bragging about it on the news after the fact, as though this was the new normal.
Right.
It's crazy. But, there were a lot of things that happened in neighborhoods that shouldn't have happened. People were going into areas they shouldn't have been going in to rob people because they knew they weren't there.
Right.
Most of the city evacuated, so they, free pickings. And people who stayed said, not in my neighborhood.
Right. Well, Bob said, he said, I used to teach disaster response and control, and many people will die simply because they will rely on the government.
Yeah. Yeah. Or some faster than others. They've got, 6 miles from my house, there's a mysterious, I don't want to say camp, but a giant metal shed with what can only be described as those coffins, those FEMA coffins, where you can fit 5 people, and they can stack them 5 high. Um, they're made out of plastic. They look like linings for a regular grave, but they're not. They seal up.
Oh, okay.
Where they have a lid and they have a bottom, and you can fit 5 people in there, and they will hold 5 high. And 6 miles from my house, they're being stored in a metal shed that the fire chief doesn't even know who owns the shed because nobody will tell him. So,
jeez.
And he's supposed to know that. That's by law. He's supposed to know any public structure, what the fire infrastructure is on it, fire suppression, all that stuff. He's supposed to know all of that for, rapid response. And nobody will tell him what it is. So
yeah, it blows my mind, and I know folks, we kind of got off subject a little bit of paranormal, and now we've been talking about New Orleans and disasters and crime and
conspiracy theory. That's paranormal, I guess.
But yes, but it's interesting to me because, again, as we talked about, I think we went down this road. We started talking about the dead and natural disaster, or like human disasters, and how the dead respond and all that stuff. So we ended up talking about how we respond to them as well. And I know, like I said, it was really tough. Like FEMA did not handle things really well, and it's weird because it seems like every time we have these disasters, you would think they would be like, okay, this is what we should do. Boom, 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 boom. And it seemed like it would be a lot more efficient. But it seems like every time we have these big disasters, I don't know. That's just me. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know. It's almost like they.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like Bob, I got some training in disaster remediation. Basically, it's not what to do in the response, but to prepare prior to a disaster. What do you need to have in place? And a lot of mine was actually for data, making sure that servers, if they got drowned, they had a replicated server someplace else that was just fine. And you'd never know that, the main server was underwater. So that was largely what it was involved, but it, did the whole rainbow of remediation, for preparing, not just for the data, but for personnel and food and shelter and all that kind of stuff. Is all of that. So
cool. Well, also, guys, just to let you know, I did receive some word, and John will be joining us here really soon. So
awesome.
That's awesome. We'll be able to get him on the show and start getting some of his take on paranormal. We'll hit him up on some of his experiences, and we got some announcements as well that we will make. And Bob says, I was a certified instructor for mass casualty contamination. Almost all hospitals in the Memphis area failed their drills for decon. Scary.
Yeah, I'm not shocked. Because when push comes to shove, people act differently. Even from what they were trained, they will, freak out at the slightest pressure. Even though they know what they're supposed to be doing, they forget. It's like stage fright.
Yeah, it's weird. And I've seen hospitals doing drills different times. I think the one time it kind of freaked me out a little bit. And I don't mean freak out, but I was delivering, I deliver lab specimens, like COVID tests and blood samples and all that stuff, from lab to lab at night. That's like one of my second jobs. Mm-hmm. And one night I went in, there's like this normal entrance that I go in. It's security guards. It's like pretty good sized lobby, all this stuff. And I pull up, and normally there's like the overhead where your car, it almost looks like valet parking type thing, right? Where they got the overhead, there's lights and everything. I pull up, and like everything was turned off. Like the hospital's like super dark. And I'm like, and then your first thought is like, there's no way the hospital is closed. But I'm like, what the hell? Are they closed? What am I missing something? I pull up, I go to walk in, and like the lobby, there's no lights on the lobby. I'm like, is this entrance still? I mean, because I didn't really know any other entrance. So it's like I got a security badge that I have a path that I go to the lab, you know. I don't really go through any other parts of the hospital, you know. So I walk in, and sure enough, there was a security guard, sitting there in the dark, and I'm just like, what the hell's going on? He's like, well, we're doing a drill, like a power out drill type thing, and blah, blah, blah. But it was just so creepy because, like, normally the hospitals like are all lit up and, everything's so bright, and it was just dark. And I had to go down there, down to like the lower level where the lab and like near the morgue and stuff. It was like all creepy with nice and dark. So I was like, man, if I could just do a video right now in the hospital, like, oh, my wife, Terry Lynn wants me to do it so bad. She's like, you need to do a video by the morgue down there, the hospital, or something. Like, do an EV. I'm like, but I can't because there's like cameras and stuff. There's like people in the hot. Like, I can't be like having the camera and be like, is there a spirit here? Like, I can't be doing a session right there by the morgue and all that other stuff. It's like, I want to. I'd
Yeah.
love to do an investigation by the morgue and stuff like that. But yeah, man. So, but
Well,
yeah,
when I was 18, I got a job right out of high school as a security guard, Pinkerton. And the only thing that they gave us in Illinois, because it was Illinois for firearms, is really, really difficult. So what we got was a cheap little flashlight that you could buy at the farmer store for like $3, and walk around and basically be a human smoke detector. That's what our job was. Well, I was working with this one gal in this what was formerly a Wurlitzer factory. They made the pianos and the organs for Wurlitzer. Before that, it was a convent or nunnery, is what they call it. And uh, the building itself was shaped like a cross that you could see from the sky. It was,
right.
long on both ends, and there was doors, and honestly, it would look like a community college if you didn't know any better. But as you're walking along, they turn off all of the lights because, well, they're cheap and they don't want to spend the money on electricity. So you get the flashlight to walk around in the dark in this thing. It's basically a cross, and determine that there's no fire going on anywhere. The gal that I was working with was going in the opposite direction as I was going, so we could cover ground twice as fast. I'm at the very end of the top of the cross, and I hear this blood curdling scream. She just yells out. I freaked me out because I thought she was being murdered or something. And I, yelled for her, and I went looking for her, and she'd run full tilt all the way back to the main office, which was at the entrance, and locked herself in. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, go away. Go. She was freaking out in there, and I couldn't get inside. Called the supervisor, who drove 45 minutes to get to us. He got her to open up the door, and she described what somebody had come around the corner, and she thought it was me, and it was a nun in a full habit floating down the hallway with no feet. She flat the flashlight directly on it. I mean, it wasn't transparent or anything. It was like a person, a real person. And she just lost her shit.
Oh my god.
Ran because, it looked like something that later I saw in, what was that movie with, I can't remember what the name, the movie with the nun, the evil nun that comes out of the painting. I can't remember.
The Nun? Isn't that what it's called?
I thought it was, maybe it is the nun.
I
But
don't know. I know what you're saying, but like I always forget all the names of those type of, because I don't watch a lot of scary movies. I try to avoid that.
I do, but they all blend together after a while.
Right.
But that's what it looked like. To me, in my mind, when she described this, and I was 18 years old, long before any of this stuff was even a popular culture thing, and I couldn't work there myself after that story. I wanted to investigate it, like what you're talking about, but at the same time, I had nobody to back me up. I would have been in that place by myself all the time in the dark, conjuring. That's what it was. It's called The Conjuring.
Oh, okay.
Spirits saying, please, say something, and all I have is a flashlight, you know.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they
I
transferred
mean,
me out.
it's just it's funny because I'm I've done a lot of cool stuff with paranormal investigations and been in some pretty normally what would people think is scary. But like I don't like scary movies and stuff. Like I don't like to be made to jump. Like that's my problem. It's like my wife loves them and she always loves when I watch them and stuff because she loves to see me jump and she loves to torture me like that.
Uh-huh.
But uh but I'm just, it's weird. Like, there's that weird dichotomy of just like paranormal investigator who hunts ghosts, but yet doesn't like scary movies. Even though I also film them or film those things, I don't know. There's something about it. So
Well, the jump scares get you all the time, and it's coming because the music starts to get more intense, but it still gets you every time. It's I think that's part of the thrill. It's coming, and you get it anyway.
right, and I think in most paranormal situations, like when you're in at a location, most of the time the spirits don't seem to make you jump. I mean, you could get scared a little bit, or like something might cause you to jump a little bit or something, but not like a horror movie. You know what I mean? Where they build that tension and it's coming, and you're just like, what the hell? And then they fake you out, and then they hit you up, and they fake you out, and whatever. So, uh, but in any case, I'm excited, man. We got, like I said, John's gonna be getting on here any minute. Like I said, I know hopefully he didn't have any problems. Okay, so far no text on any problems, but hopefully John will be getting in here. And I'm excited. I'm so excited for some upcoming things that we'll be able to share with you guys. God, I'm in the works on some things. Again, I just want to remind people this show here. Feel free to comment, ask questions. You can participate. We welcome people from the chat to ask questions, or even if you want to learn about certain subjects, if you have a question about a situation, pop it in there. This is the show you can participate in. So, folks, or even just if you want to shout out, say hi in the chat. So, just thought I'd let you know. Bob says, I don't like scary movies either. The only entertainment is trying to figure out who dies last. Yeah, and like that's the thing. They almost get so comical nowadays of like that they're trying to do like the reverse psychology. And I personally I love a well written mystery. If it's gonna be scary and there's gonna be like a mystery of who done it type thing, almost like scary movie or something like that, then I want it to be well written to where there's actual clues of maybe who it could be. Like I don't want it to just turn around and be somebody that doesn't really make sense in the end. They just did it because they're like, who would be the least likely that people would think, and maybe one more to the right. Like that kind of thing. Like everybody's going to expect this person because they're the last, but it's actually this person because they're the second to last. Auntie Elizabeth Martinez, hello everyone. How are you? It's nice to see you in the chat. Again, for those of you joining us, we've got John with Exploration Unknown getting ready to come up. We've been talking about paranormal in the meantime because our show starts at 9 and John is on his schedule, so he will be here shortly. When he gets everything up and running. Of course, with John's luck, he's probably been like struggling with his computer or something, trying to get things up and running. But in the meantime, guys, if you want to pop in the chat, what's some of your favorite scary movies that you like in the chat, or is there anything that resembles anything close to real life? I personally don't think there is too much. Although I will say,
Here we go.
What?
See John.
Oh, hey. All right. So, folks, let's get John on here. John, welcome to the stream, buddy.
What's up? How y'all doing?
Here we go.
There we go.
Let's get all of us.
Hey,
Guys, without probably a man that doesn't need much introduction on my channel, but John with Exploration Unknown. John, it's good for you to join us live. so we can throw you on the spot and ask you all kinds of crazy questions.
Oh boy, I'm glad to be here though. I'm happy I made it.
Yes, and I know for those of you, again, he tried to come on here a couple of weeks ago, as some of you know, but he had to film or whatever filming went longer than normal. So sometimes it happens. We have busy schedules. So
unforeseen circumstances happen every now and again, but we're here.
Yeah.
We made it.
Yes, absolutely. So with that being said, I want to jump right into some stuff, folks, and that is, guys. So John and I had we've worked together a little bit recently, but then we got a chance to actually do a Para Explorers episode together. And so that's another reason why I wanted to have John on here tonight, because we had a great episode. I think we put together something awesome. We survived the quest, and we can't go into too much detail about it, but we survived, and it's going to be debuting Saturday, 9/8 Central on Paraflix. So we'll give you some more details as we go. So, John, how did you feel about overall, I guess, without us, I guess, giving away any of the good stuff, how did you feel about that night that we got to work together on that episode?
Well, it was a lot of fun. I mean, of course, it was not to give too much away, but spooky to say the least. But,
yes.
No, it was a lot of fun getting to work with you and getting to experience a place I've never been to before. It definitely had some very interesting moments during that night, and I'm excited for everybody to see it.
Yes, and I can't wait. And we did have a chance to do a little bit of investigating there, also, which I know you'll probably be releasing that sometime probably after this weekend, I'm assuming. So
yeah.
So stay tuned for that. And guys, I can tell you, like, I know I want to go back to this location. Just again, like, I just want to go back there again. I mean, it's so good. I just can't express that. And so hopefully it'll be John and I, and who knows, maybe we can drag some other people along. We'll have to see.
Oh yeah, I look forward. Yeah, I do look forward to getting back and like doing a more intensive, like more investigating, and just to see what other evidence we can gather from that place, because it's got me hooked now. We were there for a while, and a lot of really crazy stuff happened. So it's like I got to get back out there and get deeper into it and see what we can figure out. It's a really interesting story too with it. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but it really has a fascinating history as well as the paranormal aspect of it. So I do recommend you watch it. It's going to be good.
Right. And I guess I can get rid of the I guess we can get rid of the John with Exploration and Coming Up Soon banner.
Hey, I can't, it's here.
I know, it's like, I think we can get rid of that. So he's here. Okay. And let's see. And I'm going to put up this real quick here just so you guys can see. So for those of you that want to know, John was a special guest on Para Explorers, The First Quest, episode 2. Okay. So, and that's going to premiere on Paraflix June 25th, this Saturday, 9/8 Central. And of course, if you guys don't have Paraflix, let me tell you real quick, you're going to want to get it. It's a streaming platform that does nothing but paranormal stuff. It is awesome. And we are an original show, Para Explorers. So it's different. It's not like your normal. It's a quest. For those of you that are familiar with the show, then you know what I'm talking about. For those of you that don't, we have to go to these locations and do specific missions and get through it without failing. So it's a really cool situation. So I hope to see. And we've filmed a few. We've been already to a few other locations that'll be coming out real soon as well. But if you don't have Paraflix, use the promo code right down below on the screen, Para Explorers 10. If you don't get it tonight, thanks, John. That was nice. He's like, hey, I'm on the bottom here. Someone else. But yes, for those of you, if you missed the code, don't stress. I got the links down below in the comment section or whatever you call it, the messages. So the links are down below, the links for Stacy and even John. So like if you're watching this and you're not subscribed to John, where are you, man? Where you been? I got links to his channel, Exploration Unknown. If you have not watched his stuff, you need to go watch it. Like, I really enjoy his content. It's definitely the style I was getting into. And when my wife came across him and was like, dude, you need to check this guy out. He's like local. And I'm like, what? Go check out his stuff. So, but I'm so excited. All right. Well, let's get rid of that now. Now, you guys got all that? If not, it's in links. All right. All right, so John, what do you got going on for yourself coming up? Like, how's your channel going? What do you got going for you?
Well, I'm working on a lot.
I don't mean to interrupt you. I know I just asked you, but this is exciting because I almost forgot. Damn it, dude! I want a copy of your book.
Oh yeah, you mean this book? Clickbait.
Clickbait.
Yeah,
it's got me on it. Oh, where's the camera? Yeah, right there. That's me.
Yes, I love it.
Hardcover and everything.
Yes.
Do what?
Hardcover and everything.
Yeah. I got hardcover and of course there's a paperback version as well. Yeah, it was real exciting. It's a real fun process with the book. It's something I'd never done before, so I was nervous, trying to figure out kind of the logistics of writing a book and all that. So, but it did decent. A lot of people bought it, and a lot of people's giving me great feedback on it. So. That's fun.
Yeah. Are you considering writing another one already, or?
Maybe down the road. Right now, that was something I got to experience, and I do want to write another book eventually. But right now, I think there's other things that take priority in life. But yeah, it was definitely a cool experience to get to do that.
It kind of sounds like me. It's like, and I don't even have a copy of my book laying around right now, just because I'm a slacker. But I got a book called My Paranormal Guide to Spirit Realms. But when I released my book, awesome, dude, you're the man. Look at this. He even had my book.
That's I came prepared.
You did. But what I was gonna say is that I'm like the same way like you in a way. It's like I did it, and that was awesome. Mm-hmm. Like I'm like not a big author. Like I wanted to do it. Don't get me wrong. It's like I wanted to write it. I had a lot of my theories and stuff I wanted to put out there. But like now that I've done that, it's kind of like, all right, cool, but I've got so many other like filming projects and things like that, So now how about your channel?
Channel's great. I've taken a little hiatus, which I do periodically. Kind of doing some restructuring. I don't want to give too much. I'm going to be releasing some videos soon, kind of describing the process I'm doing and how I'm kind of, I don't want to say changing things up. I'm still going to do spooky content, same kind of content. It's just I'm going to structure my schedule a little bit differently, and I just had to take a little bit of a break, a little hiatus. But I've been filming, and I'm excited about what I'm going to be releasing, and got some really cool content, never before seen places. So I am. And Megan, I see you commenting down there.
Is that the Stitch Rocks? Or?
Yeah, that's Megan. She's been around since the beginning, man. She's followed me since pretty much right from the get-go. Been a huge supporter of the channel. I always appreciate Megan.
No, that's awesome, though. And okay, so now I don't know. Hopefully, John will be coming out here. We've got some other locations out my way. I know John and I have talked about. I don't want to give away anything, but hopefully we'll see him out here real soon, and we can get some of that filming too. So I'm excited, man.
Same here.
I want to go back to that location where we did the Pair Explorers. I definitely want to do that because that's like a virgin location in that sense that there's really was nobody to film there. Like you and I were the first ones to film there. So
when I heard the story, I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like. It kind of needs to be told, and really, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I gotta say, Stacy, you're looking pretty pale, brother. Yeah, John and I's got some sun going on, I think, and you're like a freaking ghost over there. You're like super white.
I got my box lights going here. I can turn off the box lights.
Oh, that's what it is, right? Because I don't have big old box lights right here.
I got them going full blast.
Right. It's like, no, it's my computer. The camera, the saturation's really low.
No, I am not pasty at all. It just
it stays like a vampire. It's like, I'm not going outside. It's too freaking hot.
It has been hot though. I mean,
yeah, and he's down
this weather, man. It's been hot.
Well, yeah, especially down in Louisiana where Stacy is. Good Lord. You know,
I couldn't imagine. I'm complaining about Knoxville weather being around 100, but the humidity's been pretty bad too. But
I think swamp ass is our state bird.
Right, swamp ass.
Yeah.
So, John, since you're like special guest on here tonight, what's something you want to share with your folks about maybe like a situation? Like, what was one of the more scarier situations that you personally was in?
Well,
like during an invest, because I know like you did a lot of urban exploration, but then it kind of morphed into paranormal as well. And
yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much about the way it went. Scary. I mean, so there's a couple different categories I like to place here on scary, like real life danger, like those situations. I'd have to say when I fell into the grave and when a cougar, like a mountain lion, kind of chased me out of an area. Those were kind of two moments that stand out. Falling through the earth into a grave cavity is not something I ever want to experience again. But far as paranormal and what I deem may be dangerous, it's not even in one of my videos, but I did a video with Josh in Florida, and he took me to this cemetery, and all I know is I was standing upright. I heard a sound, and next thing I know, I'm on the ground. So, like, that's probably, like, the scariest or most dangerous investigation as far as paranormal goes kind of thing that's ever happened. It just felt like I got pushed to the ground. I don't know. It felt and looked like something shoved me down, and I'm like, I'm a big. You see me? I'm a grown man,
right?
I'm not small, so I'm hard to move. But that probably stands out as the most far on paranormal level.
Right.
Demonic is what I think. It kind of shook me a little bit for a while.
Crazy part of it is if it wasn't on film, no one would believe you.
Yeah, I know, and it's like I'm glad it's on film because you see on the whiplash motion and everything. Like you can see, it looks like I've been shoved.
Right.
And it's on Josh's video, just Southern Afterlife. So you're there, but I was just my camera was malfunctioning. I heard something, and you see me kind of look around, and next thing you know, there you go.
Yeah, and this is a kind of a good time to bring this up too, I guess, too, is since you brought him up. So Josh, we can plug Josh from Southern Afterlife. Mm-hmm. So for those of you that watch John, you probably see Josh on there as well a lot from Southern Afterlife. Great channel, good content as well. Love Josh, good guy. We had him on the show, and believe it or not, he actually was also a special guest coming up on episode 3. So, guys, we're so excited to have an amazing special guest for the Para Explorers, the original series on Paraflix. I really can't speak enough. John came on there again. You'll have to watch to see. Total shocker, but great. I cannot wait for you guys to see this episode coming up Saturday. God, I'm so excited. And yes,
it'll be good.
So you said that was Megan, right? Is that because
Stitch Rocks? That's Megan.
Megan. So yeah, I like Josh's channel, Southern Afterlife. Yeah, he does really good. Again, I'm a little jealous. I would love to do more field work, like you guys get to go do a lot more. Of course, I'm kind of in the middle of a quest right now. So that's kind of my field time is being involved in this ParaQuest going on. So, but maybe once I get done, I'll do some even more field work, and I'll still try to get you guys something on my YouTube channel, field wise, that's not on Paraflix as well. So John. So you have to forgive me because it's been just nonstop. I'll show people too. Oh yeah, I want to show people this. So I had this on here. So guys, this is what you can look for. This is going to be the thumbnail if you go to Paraflix. This is actually ripped straight from their email today because they send out emails to advertise all the shows coming out. So you can see this is the thumbnail, Parrot Explorers, the First Quest, Episode 2. John, you can see, and of course, in the background, you guys can see in my background, the same background for the thumbnail. I've been kind of teasing that out to you guys, showing you this is an actual picture from the location that we were at. John can attest to that. In fact, you took a similar picture first. I will say, I gotta admit, John took this picture that looked like this, but his was like amazing looking. I just went out there like afterwards, like when I was out there, and I'm like, I want something similar because it looks really cool. But I think you captured. I haven't seen yours, but I've seen it like on your camera when you showed it to me. And it looked badass. So I really hope it came out well for you. But I liked that artistic view that John had. So I got to give him credit for that background because he had the artistic view to take a picture of that light through the trees. So I tried to do my best, took that, and here we are. We used it for the thumbnail. So,
yeah, speaking of which, John, that your background right there, is that a print or is that a green screen?
No, it's a print. I stuck it up real quick because I have a green screen. You probably see the green screen around it. I couldn't get the framing right breathing enough. Do what?
I see the print. It's breathing. So
I got a fan on in here, and I just kind of pinned it up. So
hell yeah. Oh man,
it's special effects. I meant for it to happen.
Special. No, well, you gotta, like, in the summertime, like we got our fans on in the house, even though we got AC. I mean, it's like you got to keep that air moving. Period. It's like because even AC,
I'd be glistening if I didn't.
Oh yeah, you ain't lying. Me too, man. I'd freaking be being all crazy. So you got some stuff you really can't fully talk about, but you got some new content coming up.
Oh yeah.
What about did you have a Patreon?
Yeah, I have a Patreon. It's just Exploration Unknown. I encourage people if they, I release, exclusive content on there and members and stuff like that. So, I got a few people over there that likes the exclusive content.
Yeah, well, that's why I wanted you to make sure we plug everything here. We have no shame.
Thank you.
We love to plug everything for everybody on here. So, again, don't worry. We love doing that. So, John, I want to ask you, what was your paranormal journey like from, say, when you started out doing mostly like urban explorations to now? And then we'll get to Megan's question here in a second. But what was that? Where are you at? I guess maybe even has your paranormal views changed since, in these last few years, maybe?
I don't know that my views have changed as much as my understanding, because in this world of paranormal, we're all trying to figure out what in the heck it is. Everything's pretty much a theory, but as we investigate and we learn, we develop methods and tools and solutions, and we find answers. But at the end of the day, we still don't know what it is. So it's fascinating, and the understanding of it too. Like just understanding more about it as time goes, I think is the biggest difference. At first I was just kind of seeing what happens. Now I'm using tools and different methods to try to capture evidence and more things like that, and learning as I go. So,
yeah, no, that's awesome, man. I feel the same way too. It's like I don't know if my views have completely changed a whole lot over the years. I guess some of it's been reinforced, some of it's been a little changed maybe, but all in all, it feels like I've just gotten closer to understanding more of the paranormal, but yet, like you said, it's just weird how it feels like we know more, but still nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the way it is. But, it's, I believe most paranormal is either dark energy or just energy, just, residual energy. So, but there's so much to learn.
And so now we'll get to Megan's question. She said, "Hey, John, what about the ghostly woman that you caught at the abandoned farmhouse?"
So that one is probably my best apparition I've ever caught, because you can't debunk it, and that's the thing. I've went back, I've tried to, I do the same lighting, same position, same everything, and I cannot recreate what I captured. So it's just probably the best full body apparition I've ever caught. I've caught shadow figures, weird things, but like, that's a woman in the woods, and no one was there when I was there. So, and
Right.
So you've only, your understanding is that a lot of the spirits are dark. You've not experienced anyone's, light bearing spirits or anything what people would call light bearing spirits.
Well, I have, and it's not. I think more of a way of us trying to say that is I know there's a lot of dark energy out there, and I think there's more dark energy than most. But I've had pleasant experiences with investigations and entities before, but it's just, I don't know. I still trying to get a deeper understanding of it all.
It sounds similar to like almost like a Christian based belief where, and I'm not knocking anything like that because that's where my beliefs stem from. But a lot of Christians believe mostly there's like a lot of evil spirits out there, and that some human spirits still maybe possibly remain in between for a temporary amount of time before they move on. But for the majority of the afterlife is a lot of evil spirits. So it almost sounds something similar to that. Would that be close to what you're talking about?
I guess it's just hard to sum it up in a grouping of words, to be honest with you. Because he makes a good point. Because you have, there's times when I've had experiences with a box or whatever's happened that has been like, like you're communicating with someone or an entity that's been there before. I just think, on a logically speaking term, like the best I can explain paranormal is energy that we leave behind. But yeah, at the same time, I've experienced a lot of dark, but that could be a result of places I've been too.
Well, that's true.
That's what is the most common thing I run into is more dark energy than anything else.
True. If you only visit prisons, you're going to come across nothing but assholes.
That's true.
Yeah.
We go out and we try to seek. In a way, it's kind of by default. We try to find the scariest places we can. When we're out trying to film, because we're trying to be entertaining and all that. But yeah,
what's it like for you is there a big difference, or do you have a preference when you go out to do investigations? Have you, and again, this is not to talk about anything bad about anybody, but like, what is it like between being alone doing an exploration versus having your buddies there?
Well, of course, when you got your buddies there, it's you don't. It takes away a lot of the fear that comes into you, because when you're alone, it's like you have no fail-safe, you have nothing, and it's like to overcome that and still be able to follow through with an investigation or an explore is kind of a challenge, because your first thought is if you're starting to hear something or something's moving in the woods, or you think someone might be in the building, or you don't know if it's paranormal or not, is fight or flight, but to just stay calm and follow through with it, I think is the challenge. And it's kind of fun, I kind of enjoy that sometimes, but then also it's like I would rather be safe in some aspects, especially if I'm going out in the forest or something like that. I try not to go alone. But there definitely is, I kind of have a weird enjoyment for going by myself sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, and you have the mountains, you got actual critters that can come eat you.
Yeah. So. And that's why I try, especially at night. Like now, daytime, I'll wander off in the forest all the time. But at night, it's like, you don't have that vision, for one. And everything that can hurt you at night can see you, but you can't see it, because they're not creatures.
Right.
You're definitely at a greater disadvantage at night, but it's kind of, like some people like to jump out of a plane or something. That's kind of my thrill, is to go out and scare myself a little bit.
Yeah. And admittedly, that's what I mostly do. Is most of my stuff I'm alone, but it's nice like when I get a chance to work with you or other people.
Mm-hmm.
It is there. The nice thing about when you have somebody with you that I like to is that there's also that extra validation where there's an extra set of eyes and ears and senses, because sometimes like I won't hear something, maybe because I'm getting old or something, and then somebody younger will be like, "Hey, did you hear that?" I'm like, "No, but yeah." And then when I go back and edit stuff, sometimes I'll be like, "Well, they pointed," and I hear what they heard,
Mm-hmm.
and that actually happened to us, which I can't tell you about it. But for those of you that watch this, there was a moment when John heard something and I didn't quite hear it, but I'm like, well, hopefully it was on camera. Well, guess what? It's on camera.
Well, good.
So you guys will be able to check that out. Again, we captured some stuff. You'll have to check it out for sure. But so I'm excited about that. John,
You were such a tease.
I know, but that's what we can do right now. We're in that pre-release, moment.
You have to watch.
Right? You guys got to go get Paraflix. And like I said, don't be scared. Paraflix they've been blowing up, guys. It's like a few bucks a month. I don't know, $3 or $4 a month. I can't remember what it averages out to. Super cheap. I think I did like the $30 a year type thing. You can do a yearly or you can do monthly. And I got a promo code, guys. I'll put it up one more time for those of you that maybe joined in here recently. But John and I, just to remind you guys, John is going to be guest starring on Para Explorers: The First Quest, episode 2. We had a debut, a pilot episode, if you will, previously, but he's going to be on episode 2. Him and I premiering on Paraflix June 25th, Saturday, 9/8 Central. If you don't have Paraflix, use promo code ParaExplorers10. That'll get you 10% off for the first 3 months. And again, that's like $3 or $4 a month. I can't remember the exact cost, but
like
super cheap.
It's like the price of a Coke.
Yeah, and they have a ton of content too, like a lot of exclusive content, originals like Para Explorers. They've got other originals, super cool stuff. And I'm still trying to talk John into possibly joining the Paraflix family one day. We'll see. I mean, John's got a lot going on, but
when I find some time,
I don't want to throw you on the spot. You don't have to answer. I'm not trying to throw you on the spot, John. But definitely good folks there at Paraflix. So, but at least you're in one of the episodes coming up with me, and I'm so happy. I'm really proud of everything. Yeah, I can't wait. Okay, so back to we'll talk a little more about you and what you got, and maybe some of your adventures. And so, John, I wanted to give you a chance as well. And I know I think the last time you were on, I asked you some of these questions, but new episode. What's something that, because I know you're very open with a lot of your folks that follow you, right? So like Megan can attest to this in the chat, and the other some of you else that are hiding in the chat that's not saying anything, or watching this on replay. Those of you that know John, you probably know a lot about him. All right, but John, is there anything that you can share with people that maybe they would be surprised to learn about you?
I don't know. There's not much people don't know, I don't guess.
I know it's tough when you share a lot.
Yeah, I mean, so something they'd be surprised to know?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, like, for example, for me, sometimes people don't always know, like, who knows what they assume of me, but I don't really talk about it. But, like, I'm an Elvis fan, don't really share that with a lot of people. So I think I've said it in some other episodes now, but that is something that maybe at the time somebody would have been surprised. Megan also asked how the dogs are doing, of course.
The dogs are good. The dogs are great, being little cuties like always. Well, yeah, that's something there. I actually own and love small dogs, Pomeranians. I have 2 of them. So that would surprise a lot of people if they didn't know that.
Nice.
Yeah, I got 2 of those too. I got a weenie dog and a yapper.
I love weenie dogs are the cutest. I don't know. I like all dogs. I'm not. I'm an animal person in general.
Right. Yeah, I actually got to have at my day job. I actually had a lamb that was born right right near me.
Oh wow.
I was like with a customer, and we're standing outside. I'm trying to get cell service, to deal with the problem. I had to call my tech support and all this stuff, and it's like all this sheep's over here just blah blah, and she's like, what the heck? And next thing you know, like there's this little baby lamb just right, like wow, that doesn't happen all the time, So in fact, even the lady was surprised. She was just like, what are you doing giving birth in the summertime? Apparently they don't like to do that in the summer. So Trina Rezak, I guess. Rezak. Sorry if I butcher your name, but Trina says, what's your biggest fear, John?
The ground and or floor beneath me giving way and I falling through it. I think that's my biggest fear. Yeah, I have this weird thing. Like if I'm on something and I realize that there's nothing under me or I don't know what's under me and I could fall through. I guess a lot of people probably have that, but it started, I realized that was like a huge fear when I was in a house years ago and the floors were real crunchy and soft and I was real worried and nervous about falling through. And then when I looked downstairs and the entire basement was flooded up to the floor beneath me. So there's about 7 or 8 foot of just stagnant, nasty water.
Oh my God.
I had a panic attack. You don't really see it in the video, but like I'm standing at the stairs and next thing I'm outside and I'm like, I can't do it.
Right.
But
nope, we're not doing this. Nope.
Yeah. Nope. But and then there's a video where I actually fell through the floor of a house. And then not long after that, I fell into that grave, which I mentioned earlier. It's just heightened that after those, there's buildings I'll look in. I'll go, some of my friends will go in them and just walk around. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. It's not worth it.
Yeah. And that's a good fear, like in that sense, because I also share something similar to that and for me, it's like, I'm kind of a big guy in that sense where, I also feel like, man, like some of these rickety ass, floors. I mean, as paranormal investigators or even urban exploring, you just go to places that are run down. They just haven't been used. The floors are falling apart, rotting, or whatever. They haven't been lived in. So, and then also, I'm sure it didn't help when you fell into the grave. So even when you thought you were on solid ground.
Yeah, that one messed with me a little bit. It's like I can't even trust the earth anymore. It's like I need to lose some weight.
And Kenny Foster, who I'm related to, and I don't know, I have a Kenny Foster. It's weird. I have a Ken Foster in my family. He says, hi, John. And Auntie Elizabeth Martinez says, John, famous for falling into floors and that. So yeah. So that's like your thing then, I guess, right? So
it's just, I think it's because I harp on it so much. It's happened to me a couple times, which it's happened to a lot of people, but like I'm always like freaking out over the floors in a building or something. Like probably my most recent video I released was this abandoned orphanage, and the floors were kind of crunchy in it, so I basically stood in one spot almost the whole video,
right,
investigating. The guys are one upstairs and there's big holes in the floor, and I'm just like, I'm not doing that. You guys go, you're grown men, you go do you, but I'm going to stand here where I know it's solid.
If you got Josh with this, like, yeah, just take your little ass up there and go have fun.
I'm going to stand down here and, but, I moved around some. I went halfway up the stairs and I walked around a little bit there where it's solid, but there's parts of the floor you can tell is like collapsing and rotten, and, some people just don't think about it and walk across them, and I'm like, that's how you get hurt.
Yeah, no, trust me, I feel you on that one, and I didn't really think about it either until I'm there, and then I'm like, oh man, this is definitely a real fear for me too. So I do want to say, okay, so what about dream locations? What would be something that you really would love to go and investigate? And then I got to follow up on that. So what's something that you would love to go investigate?
Ooh. I want to say like the catacombs in Paris if they weren't so dangerous. Just because it is a terrifying thought to be underground with exposed, where people, it's just, I don't know. There's something about the catacombs that just are
That's a good
freaky.
one.
And I always said Vlad's Castle, Dracula's Castle would be kind of a cool place to go, just historically speaking. And it's allegedly very, very, very haunted. So that would be kind of a bucket list place to go.
No, that's cool, and I would like to add in there too because I think those are all cool locations. I like to just say in general Europe, like
Yeah.
just about anywhere in Europe, but no, like remember the original one of the I think it was the second ever Dracula movie, right? Nosferatu. The first one was lost, but technically Nosferatu now is like the only existing first Dracula movie in existence.
Silent one?
Yes. They restored it and things like that. And of course, there's a couple different versions, the tinted one or the black and white, things like that. Anyways, that was shot at a real castle that is still around to this day. And that castle is pretty badass looking. And like, I could imagine just going to that as well. I think that would be a really cool location I would love to go to.
Any castle they'd let me in, I would be tickled to death, honestly, over there.
Oh, yeah.
Because as old as those things are, and like they're made of stone, like there's energy there, regardless of where there's energy in those things, and it's got to be epic.
Yeah, I actually would love to go back to Castle Windsor as well in Toronto, Canada. I actually had a chance to go there and tour the castle back, a long time ago. In fact, when I was in the master bedroom, I actually discovered a secret passage that even the tour guides didn't know. There was like this panel, and it was really like, I couldn't fit in there nowadays, but it was really narrow. And just this paneling, and I like, it's like messing with it. It just opened up, swung open. They're like, what is that? What the heck? Secret passage. But the place has other secret passages, but I would love to go back there now. Like I've thought about it in my mind, like over the years, and I'm like, man, I'd love to go back there and have run of the place, But so, Trina says, John, I love the fact that you're such a genuine person. All your investigations are so respectful.
Thank you, Trina.
Yeah. Did you want to add about the respect part and what that means to you?
Well, I don't know. I just feel like in any phase in life, if you show respect, you usually get respect back. So when dealing with paranormal, I just try to be respectful, because if I'm investigating an area or a location where someone may have died or a tragedy has happened, especially in that sense, or a cemetery, that was someone's loved one, in life, and that was a person, and I just try to show that respect, for, I don't know, it's just kind of like a general thing. Like I show a live person respect. I want to show the dead respect as well, and and two, on top of it, being disrespectful and saying weird, crazy things like that, I don't think that gets you anywhere. I think it could get you hurt, personally. I just think it's just a product of who I am as a person. I always try to be a respectful person if I can.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing is when I think about maybe your videos, I don't, or even working with you, like I don't really think of you as somebody that provokes, and so that brings me to that point is, have you ever provoked, or is that something that do you ever feel like that's appropriate?
And another thing, you ask if I provoked. I kind of did once years ago. I'm actually going to tell this story, so I'll give the cliff notes of it. I was going to release a video about it on my channel, but I was in a location and, on a ghost tour actually, and was warned that if you heckle or provoke this spirit, it will attach to you. And so me being 21 or whatever years old, and just, that's bullshit. And I forgive my language. So as I walk by, I mumble a few mutterings of disrespect. And just let me tell you, we had to leave the place we were staying that night. And we wound up sleeping in a Food Line parking lot. That's how bad it got. So yeah, I don't do the provoking thing for that. And again, like just being respectful when I do anything, because you never know if that person's loved one might see the video too.
Right.
And that's something I think of. If someone was investigating, my grandmother or mother or someone that had passed away in my life, I wouldn't have issue. But if they're being disrespectful and saying, that could hurt someone, and I don't want to do that.
Right. Now, I don't know real quick if Tiffany tells all. She said, "Hey guys, hey John." I don't know if I shouted that out. I try to catch everybody. I try to catch everybody if I can for you.
Yeah.
Like if I see them in the chat. So and I'm not trying to have you throw anybody under the bus, but have you ever and I'm not talking about maybe on your videos or something, but it just in your general in your lifetime. Have you ever worked with any teams or any people that did things that you didn't agree with like that, like provoke, and you're just like, what are you doing while I'm here? Like have you been in that situation?
Yeah, actually I have. Again, I don't want to give details and call anyone out, but let's just say someone was thinking biting off more than they could chew. They were provoking. They were making harsh demands, and the activity started getting weird, and the feeling got weird. And I had to actually leave the building. I didn't film. I actually filmed it, but I haven't ever released it. But yeah, it wasn't my. I like to investigate. I like to sit in silence sometimes and just see what I hear. That's one of my favorite things to do. It's hard to film that and edit that, but
right.
I like to just sit down and no lights, nothing, just close my eyes and just kind of see what happens, see what I hear. And I'm not one to run around and cuss at ghosts and demand them to do this. And, I'm not going to have a pissing contest with a ghost because it's just not my thing. But yeah, that was really the only time that's happened. And again, like I said, I like the person. I don't want to call them out. They're good.
Sure.
I didn't vibe with the way they do things. So that's it.
Yeah.
Not my vibe.
and that's fair enough. And that's what I'm saying. It is odd whenever, because in this industry, we all work with each other at times, or we can end up working with each other at times. And we didn't know, when you and I first worked together, I think that the Indian Cave Resort was our first time together. And we didn't know how each of us was going to be. We didn't know, is Josh going to be some big douchebag or something, whatever, this and that. Who knows? We don't know. So it's that thing. And then once you work with some people, then you kind of know, okay, yeah, we have a similar style, or we share similar beliefs, or at least enough to coexist, versus there's some investigators and I've been in that situation where it's cringe, and then you're just God, I can't wait to just go back to being on my own or whatever, when you're just stuck in that situation. And, I've been in that situation once for sure. My wife and I have, where it's we couldn't even release the video. We were in a situation where things were so contaminated and so bad, working with some people that were professional or whatever. And it was so bad. I couldn't even release the material, that kind of stuff.
Out of curiosity, John, did this person that you've done this with, you're still friends with them? You're still, TM?
I mean, it's, I wouldn't say that we were ever friends. We just acquaintances. But yeah, I mean, I see them pop in sometimes and say hi, and I say hi to them. It never was a close friendship or anything.
Okay.
But
just
yeah,
wondering how his life is now.
I couldn't answer you because I don't keep up that close with them. But yeah, I hope everything's good for them. I always do. But there's definitely no.
Was that a karma related type inquisition there, Stacy?
No, it's more of a, my experience has been people who are asshole to ghosts, they have a tendency to be an asshole right back. And, you always end up on the losing end of that stick.
Mm-hmm.
So, people who do that, gone over this before, paranormal investigators become famous, provoking, don't always live that long. They do crazy things like murder suicide and hang themselves and, all kinds of weird stuff that, all started when they started provoking spirits to prove themselves. And, it just never works out right when you become a jerk. So.
Yeah. And that really sums up what I was trying to say earlier is like, if you show that respect, and it seems like in life when, you're treated the way you treat others. And I think that can work in a paranormal sense as well. I've had things happen like being scratched. And like I said, that moment when I hit the ground, but, for the most part, it seems, let's work out okay.
And I think that's also important too, as investigators, when you do work with people that are positive, and somebody like John, like I said, one of the reasons why I enjoyed working with John the times that we have worked together so far is that John is respectful. He's a very sweet guy, and that translate even behind the scenes. So whatever, I can just tell you guys that maybe never have met him in person, like even off camera. John's a good guy. He's not one of those, he's not putting on that show on screen. He is who he is, even off camera. So
you're pretty much the same both ways. That's something I try to just be who I am. And, and I'm not a know-it-all. Like I said earlier, I'm always learning and always growing. And I think that's important to always humble yourself and just be like, you can learn something from everybody. And that's one of the cool things about meeting people like you. I see how you do things, and I learn stuff. And that's, I don't know. I just think it's always good to be open-minded and willing to learn and grow as a person.
Yeah,
well, I think what helps is that you've crossed the threshold of skeptic to believer. The believers, people who are skeptics. Being skeptical is not the same thing as being a skeptic. If you are cynical or a skeptic, and you walk into one of those situations, you can actually have more damage, not only to the situation, but to yourself and those around you. It's seances and things of that kind, make sure going in the door that no one is an actual skeptic. You can be skeptical of what is being done and what is being said. That's okay. But if you're in this, don't really know whether spirits are real kind of thing, no, I don't want anything to do with. You can't be around because you're just going to mess things up and create an energy that is toxic. So,
they got. So Kenny Foster says, John, I would like you to do one at Glenmore Mansion in Jefferson City, Tennessee.
Can you get someone to unlock that door for me? Because I'd love to do it. if you know somebody, hit my email up and let's talk.
Dude, that is like the number one thing, man. It's dude, I bet you get the same thing. People all the time are like, Josh, can you have you done this, or can you go here? It's like, I'd love to. If you got a point of contact or something, you got a way in the door, like you said, you got somebody to unlock the door. Always be happy to do it.
Not call the cops.
Yeah, and that's something I don't do. There's been places like abandoned out in the woods or something, and the door, there's no signs. Yeah, I've wandered into them, but if something says no trespassing, I respect that because I'm not going to go to jail. But
in Tennessee, that is smart.
Yes, in Tennessee, and any southern state really, because you don't know if somebody's really in there or not. There's a lot of dangerous, but I lost my train of thought there. Sorry.
But and Terry Lynn did pop it. She did say it was so bad, have bad memories from that. She's talking about when we did that investigation with those people that we weren't able to use the footage, and it just kind of ruined the whole experience. But yeah, but yeah, hey honey, I didn't really get a chance to shout you out earlier when you popped in the chat, because she came in and said, hey, she told everybody to just like and subscribe. And so honey, I'm sorry if I missed your earlier comment. And and then Debbie Turnbull came in and said, hello from Oregon. John, you are good. We watch you all the time.
Oh, thanks.
So, let's see. All right. So we got all that. I just wanted to make sure we came across all that. Yeah. John, you are good. Yeah. Debbie Turnbull. Did I do that? Did I accidentally hit that? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you did that. Okay. So, all right, cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see what John's got coming up, guys. I know you are too. And again, I hopefully will have some other new locations coming up as well. I know I've got another location for John that he's never been to. Hopefully we'll get him there. Again, we got a few. I got a few of those. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see what else you got going on and hear about some of your other stuff too. And I know John and I have talked about some other things that we can't get into. But folks, if you guys got any questions for John, start getting them in as we get to the back part of the show. Again, we always like to start wrapping things up soon when we get around that 10:30 mark. So any questions you guys got or any participation, if you guys want us to cover anything real quick. And so Terry Lynn says, I know something about John that completely surprised me. I'm not sure I know what that is, but
I'm not sure I know what that is.
Right. So Terry Lynn, hopefully, I don't know if she just wants to keep that a secret or whatever she's got going on. I don't know, but she's just throwing shit out there. I don't know. It's scary now. Watch out for my wife. John, would you ever come to Oklahoma to do an investigation?
I'd love to. I haven't done a lot of traveling over the last couple of years, and of course, the sickness and all that going on. So I am excited to do some more traveling. Hopefully later this year, maybe early next year, I might be getting out west again. I'd love to get back out there and hit some places I haven't really been. Like I kind of done the tour of Arizona, Nevada, California, and all that. But I'd like to come back over to Oklahoma, New Mexico, and really hit some cool places in those states, because I've passed through those states, but I've never really spent time there exploring and investigating. So I am excited about that, and I do want to come that way.
Yeah, and Trina even added to that. She said that you guys should check into doing investigation at the Holy City in Medicine Park, Oklahoma. Terry Lynn's like nervous, laugh out loud. I don't know. But in any case, what else we got here? All right. So, again, just to remind you guys, love the show, Out of Colorado Sins. Well, thanks, Paul Garuccio. If I said that name, I probably murdered it, I'm sure, because I'm horrible with names. I try my best. Garuccio, maybe. Terry completely surprised me how wholesome and down to earth he is. Very tall and a big teddy bear. Awesome guy for sure. Love you, John. So I guess that was what Terry Lynn was talking about. Again, very tall. I don't think she realized how tall you were. I don't know. Maybe
I think a lot of people are surprised by that, because you usually just see from here up, and you can't tell. I'm not super tall. I'm like, I claim 6'4", but I think I've shrank as I've gotten older a little bit, but at least 6'3" or 6'4"-ish.
And Bob says, bye all. Painkills are kicking in. Good show. Bob, thanks for coming in. As always, hang in there, buddy. You're a favorite. And just to remind you, Bob Fountain, folks, he writes in, Paranormal Underground Magazine right up here, our regular sponsor for the show. Definitely go check out him. Terry Lynn says, gotcha, John. My son is now a huge fan of yours as well. So that's awesome. Yeah, our son used to be like he hated anything to do with scary stuff, like scary movies, any of that stuff. Now he's like been huge into it. All of a sudden just made like this 180 and he's been like into all kinds of stuff. So, and Debbie says, thank you all on a great night. Yeah, definitely. Honestly. So let's start kind of wrapping things up here. And folks, let me remind you, I'm going to show you again. We're going to get to a few more things here. So guys, if you want to see John, and of course, if you want to see John on a regular basis and you're not subscribed to him, what the hell are you doing? Go subscribe to him after the show. Don't just leave the show. Or you can do it if you have another monitor. But go to Exploration Unknown, subscribe, and I'm sure he's going to want you to hit any kind of notification bell. Join his Patreon. You're going to get all kinds of exclusive content. And of course, if you want to see him, special guest on the original show, Para Explorers First Quest Episode 2. It's going to debut this Saturday, 9/8 Central on Paraflix. Paraflix has been it's been blowing up for the last year or so. It's nothing but paranormal stuff. A few bucks a month, guys. Again, I'm going to put this one more thing up here for you guys. Use that promo code ParaExplorers10. Go get you Paraflix. I'm telling you, it's completely worth it. Go watch my first episode and then watch episode 2 this Saturday. I can't wait. I'm sorry.
I'm excited.
Huh? Oh, you're excited? Well, you were in it, so you get to probably see. You got probably a lot more. Wish there was a trailer. This episode is great. I know. I kind of almost regret not doing a trailer for it, but it's like I've got other episodes I'm working on already and editing, and there's just so much. And I'm just going to tell you folks this. Like this episode was so big that I literally it was over like a 2-hour movie. Okay, that's how big this episode was with John and I. So I literally had to whittle so much down though, as there was so much. It's amazing. I love it. I love that we captured some legitimate stuff in here. So good. I'm so happy for that. I can't wait for John to see some of it because he hasn't even seen all that. He only experienced it. He hasn't gotten the chance to see what we actually captured. I don't think I was able to really share anything with him on that during the editing process. You know, he was busy working on things himself as well. And I know, John, you've had such a busy film schedule here lately, and you've just been working on a lot of stuff. So it's been tough, and John and I live like an hour and a half apart. So trust me, we'd do even more stuff together if I could, because John's a great guy. I love working with him, and we would do even more stuff with him. And we got to give some love to Brian from Black Mass Paranormal. We might as well while we're here. Brian, another great guy. I got a chance to work with him. Good dude. John, what do you want to say about your buddy Brian there?
Brian is blowing up on YouTube right now. He has a great channel. Very happy for him. He is already about to hit 20,000 subscribers. So big congratulations. Yeah. He's made some great videos that are going viral as we speak. And I just can't say enough about how good of a guy he is. Brian, he's just a good dude, and I'm glad to get to film with him and hang out with him. But yeah, he's got a great channel, and if you haven't checked it out, you really should, because he's doing some cool things over there.
Yeah, and that's another thing I love too, is when you get a good group of guys. It's almost like a little bit of co-opetition, right? Like, even though technically we all have our own thing going, we all get along and work together. And it's like, Josh, we plug everybody. It's like, hey, Josh was Southern,
another great channel.
Brian with Black Mass Paranormal and John with Exploration Unknown. And you can check out mine, the Everything Paranormal Show. We do things, but also Paraflix, man. Para Explorers, that original series, that's kind of been my project that I'm working on, my quest I'm on. So once I get that, I'll go back to doing even more stuff out in the field again, and some other projects. But so much fun, man. So much fun around here. And that's what's cool, is when you find other people that kind of live near you that enjoy the same type of stuff. It's just so much fun.
And we
Paul,
found each other.
yeah, and Paul says Black Mass is a great channel. Thanks for sharing it. Yeah, Megan says night everyone. Good night, Megan. But yeah, and Trina does say if you have any questions about the Holy City, you can find me on Facebook. So I love the historic background John addresses during the episodes. That's what Paul said as well. And yeah, and Terry Lynn was complimenting on too, like the episode, the Pair Explorers. Now she did get to see the final. She got to see the early version because she's my wife. So she's like that. She's also helps me with that last bit of editing, if you will, or like quality control check. It's like, she gets to watch that rough draft and she could be like, nah, man, you need to trim this, or hey, can you do this? Can you fix this? Things like that. I love Brian Channel. Yeah, Southern Afterlife is dope. Yeah, Jennifer Esser. Absolutely. Like I said, I was fortunate enough to come across these guys. Like I said, I've been doing this for over 25 years. I got to do stuff for ghost hunters and everything else. So when I was out here in Tennessee, and I almost felt a little lonely, like it didn't feel like there was a lot of, I guess, paranormal investigators and stuff like that. And then when my wife found John, and she's like, man, you guys are like almost brothers. You really need to meet this guy. And so it was really cool to not only meet John, but then to get to work with Josh and work with Brian, and just such a good group of guys. I really enjoy it. So it's nice that we have that network going on here. So Brian, John, and Josh, not me, the other Josh, Brian, John, and the other Josh, the Three Musketeers.
We're together a lot.
Get this straight.
It's like,
if the episode sucked, would Terry Lynn actually say the episode sucked?
Yes. Terry Lynn is brutally honest. So believe me, guys, she does the quality control, and usually, like, if she's not happy with something, she'll let me know. And I knew the first time through was pretty good when she didn't say anything. Like, she was like, she really didn't have much to say after the first time watching the first time through. But I was surprised. I'm like, man, but that was a compliment. But she did say some things. I went in, made some changes. Okay, I fixed this, I fixed that for you. And trust me, she'll have like almost like a list, like literally. I don't know if I can show this. Oh yeah, okay. So she'll have like a legal pad, and I just wanted to make sure I didn't have like any secrets. Like, all right, but because we write down stuff, right? But she'll have like her legal pad. She's got her computer station, and she'll sit there and watch on the big speakers and all that stuff. And she'll be writing down notes like, hey, this. And she's also the one that finds all of our evidence too, because half the time I suck at hearing or finding stuff. So actually she pre-screens the raw footage, and then she'll be like writing down timestamps and be like, hey, check out this. She's the one that finds most of the EVPs that you find, so you'll be surprised. Like I said, so Jennifer, yes, Josh from Southern Afterlife. Let's clarify that. And Terry says, this Josh on this show is awesome too. Well, thank you, honey. No, I do. I really like Josh. He is cool. So I can't, it's kind of hard for me to talk shit about him. So
we need to come
just because we have the same name,
to differentiate you two, because I'm just used to saying Josh for both of you.
Right.
And everybody's like, which Josh? And I'm like, well, this Josh or that Josh,
Right. Now, usually, I know, most of the time it's going to be Josh Southern Afterlife. That's fine. I get it, because you guys, like I said, you guys kind of all live in that same sort of area, and you guys get to work together. So that's awesome. And trust me, I'm jealous of that. But at the same time, we've got a lot going on, and we've got projects, folks. There's a lot that's going to happen. You're going to see more. That's why I tell you, any one of these channels, they're all good channels, because they're all going to have some upcoming stuff to it, especially like with John, from what I know, from what I don't know, the stuff that John doesn't tell me, the stuff that he tells me. We've been talking a lot here about some things. So I just can't wait for you guys to see some of this stuff. And the first thing is definitely check out Pair Explorers. Yep. Other than that, guys, I think we're going to start wrapping everything up. John, Stacy, stick around here as we end everything. But guys, if you have any last minute quick things, hurry up and get that in there. But other than that, John, what else do you want to say as we wrap up? Is there anything else you want to promote? You want to tell people, get his book, Remind them about your book too. Show them your book again.
Buy this book and then click over and then buy this book. And no, just go to watch the Parasplorer show. Go Paraflix. Go sign up. It's pretty cool. It's kind of like the Netflix of paranormal. That's the best way I can explain it. And there's Black Mass Paranormal, Brian.
Yeah,
ears must have been burning. We were talking about you.
I know we were just saying a bunch of horrible things about you, Brian. No, I'm just kidding. No, we were talking about how awesome you are. Hopefully, if you missed it, Brian, go back and watch it on replay. But we were talking you up, buddy. We're saying what a good dude you are.
But just go support Josh on this and watch that. It was a lot of fun making it, and I appreciate you including me on an episode. It was a fun experience to get to do it, and I look forward to seeing it because I haven't seen it yet.
Well, you kind of didn't have a choice.
Highlight clip, and by that, I'm excited to see it.
So for those, again, I can't give it away, but John kind of didn't have a choice. He kind of had to do this episode. So you'll understand when you watch it.
You'll understand.
You'll understand. Things will make sense when you watch the episode. But until then, super excited. And Brian, we definitely got to get together. I was talking to John about something with me, you, and John that we may have to work out here soon. So hopefully we'll see. Hopefully I'll see you soon, Brian. But in the meantime, guys, thank you so much, John. Thank you again for showing up and sharing some of your adventures and sharing with some people some of the things that you got going on. And not to leave out Stacy, but Stacy, I know he usually kind of takes a little bit of a backseat when we have special guests on. But guys, Stacy offers classes on Udemy. His link's down below. Classes like remote viewing and survival stuff. I mean, guys, if you want to learn those type of things, you need to go check out Stacy's courses. So I just want to make sure we get some love for Stacy out there too as well. So guys, go check out all this amazing stuff. We gave you a ton of things to check out. So go do all that subscribing and clicking and having fun and all that good stuff. And folks, we'll see you. Remember, we do this every Thursday. We'll see you in the next video. And remember, seek the truth.
Peace.
Bye.
Go buy some rice and beans.